broadcasting threats across the system. But when the humans arrived, the sun itself seemed to darken. The human fleet numbered in the thousands. Ships of every design, drawn from Earth and her colonies, surged forward. Some were so massive they blotted out orbital stations. Others moved with terrifying speed, vanishing into slipspace only to emerge within firing range. The battle lasted less than an hour. Human weapons tore through shields as though they were mist. Orbital bombardments rained down, flattening military complexes. Carriers released drones that swarmed like plagues, overwhelming defense grids. Even when Dominion ships tried to ram human vessels, they shattered against armor that seemed forged from nightmares. Admirals who had once boasted of crushing humanity fell silent, watching their fleets vanish in fire. Some tried to surrender, but Earth gave no reply. Retaliation was not about surrender, it was about reckoning. In the aftermath, Jarn Prime itself was reduced to silence. A world of billions, its skies lit with fire, its capital erased in a single coordinated strike. The Dominion's seat of power had become ash. Ashes and echoes. The war did not drag on. It ended quickly, brutally, absolutely. Human fleets moved like a tide, flooding Dominion systems, dismantling every weapon, every fleet, every base. Worlds that had once trembled under Ryloth rule now saw human ships hovering above their skis. But humanity did not conquer. They did not stay. They came, they destroyed, and they left silence. The surviving Ryloth huddled in scattered colonies, leaderless, broken. They whispered among themselves. How could they have been so blind? How had they mistaken patience for weakness? Whispers spread further, to every corner of the galaxy. Never provoke Earth. Merchants passed the words like prayers. Neighboring empires repeated them in their councils. Pirates abandoned plans against human colonies. For the galaxy had seen. Humanity's vengeance was not wild nor desperate, it was deliberate, cold, infinite. The lesson carved in fire. In the ruins of a once proud Dominion citadel, the words of Earth Command echoed again on a recovered broadcast. You planned an ambush, but retaliation arrived first. The recording was replayed countless times across the stars. The tone was calm, but to those who heard it, it was worse than fury. It was a reminder that Earth's silence was the silence of the executioner, the pause before the blade fell. The galaxy understood the truth too late. Humanity would wait. Humanity would endure. But when their patience broke, when they rose in retaliation, there would be no refuge, no escape, no plea for mercy that could reach their ears. The Ryloth Dominion had laughed once. Now they were ashes, their laughter swallowed by silence. And across the stars, civilizations whispered, praying they would never hear that silence again. They thought humanity soft. That was the mistake. The Kieroth Dominion, a proud and ancient war empire, had built its reputation on subjugation. They did not trade, they took. They did not ask, they demanded. For centuries, their fleets prowled the outer spiral arms, feeding on weaker civilizations like wolves among sheep. When word spread that the humans of Earth had risen to interstellar travel, the Dominion's leaders scoffed. They are young, one warlord sneered. Barely centuries into spaceflight, they have no legacy of blood, no fleets tested in the crucible of conquest. They are prey dressed as predators. And so the Kieroth set their ambush. A human envoy ship, Eidolon, carried diplomats to a neutral sector, unarmed, gilded with the bright blue seal of peace. Its escorts were light, symbolic, humanity's way of showing goodwill. That was when the Kieroth struck. The Dominion fleet erupted from dark space like vultures, plasma spears igniting against the envoy's fragile hull. Shields buckled within moments. The escorts were torn apart before they could even return fire. And the Eidolon, it was split in two, its human envoys screaming into the void as their signal of distress echoed into silence. The Kiroth admiral broadcast his message on every channel. Earth bleeds. Its diplomats die like cattle. This is your fate if you resist the Dominion. They expected cries of despair. They expected submission. What they did not expect was silence. The feast of mockery. The Kiroth returned to their citadel world to celebrate. Great halls echoed with laughter as generals replayed the envoy's destruction, mocking the way the humans had tried to shield themselves with fragile escorts. They hide behind ideals of peace, one commander laughed. But peace is the shield of the weak. They cannot even raise a hand before it is severed. Another chimed in, Earth will not retaliate. They are diplomats, not conquerors. They will send words, not warships. Every alien court joined in the chorus. The image of human envoys vaporized in fire became a story to tell across taverns and command centers. To them, Earth was a child holding a wooden sword against the steel of an empire. The Dominion even began planning their true strike, the ambush of Earth's frontier colonies. The idea was simple: lure Earth's fleets with false distress signals, then obliterate them in waiting minefields and hunter-killer squadrons. They would break humanity before it ever rose. But their arrogance blinded them. Because while they boasted, humanity was already moving. The quiet before the storm. From Earth there were no threats, no retaliation, no speeches of fury. The Dominion spies reported nothing, no fleets launched, no armies stirred. But deep beneath the silence, humanity was sharpening its blade. The Earth Defense Directorate convened in silence. Generals, admirals, presidents, and prime ministers gathered not for speeches, but for oaths. The destruction of the Eidolon was not a simple attack. It was an execution, a message written in the blood of peace. The response would be written in fire. Orders went out across the Sol system. Fleets hidden within the Uit cloud lit their engines. War factories on Luna began producing not trade ships, but dreadnought spines. Mars opened silos that had been sealed for centuries, unleashing weapons built for extinction wars. The galaxy saw nothing, but they would hear soon enough. The first shadow falls. The Dominion's next ambush was prepared flawlessly. Dozens of cruisers waited in the shadow of a dying star, cloaked among asteroids. The moment human fleets arrived, they would be torn apart. Except it was the Dominion who were ambushed. Without warning, space itself ignited. Human stealth frigates, unseen and unheard, tore open with shimmering light. Their opening salvo erased Dominion mines before they even activated. Then came the heavy ships, titans of steel with hulls black as void, bristling with weapons the galaxy had only seen in nightmares. At the heart of the human vanguard was the dreadnought Retribution. Its opening volley erased 3 Dominion cruisers in one stroke. Its rail batteries cracked through shields as though they were paper. And over the comms came the first human message since the Eidolon's murder. Your ambush is known. Your empire is marked. You wanted blood, now drown in it. The Dominion commanders screamed orders, but their ambushers were already the prey. Human ships moved with uncanny coordination, weaving between enemy fire, striking with brutal precision. Hours later, silence returned to the void, silence filled with burning Dominion wreckage. The galaxy gasped. The prey had bitten back. Earth unleashes its wrath. The retaliation did not end there. It had only begun. The humans moved not like victims but like executioners. The Dominion's outposts, once thought untouchable, began falling one by one. Fleets arrived without warning, dark silhouettes blotting out suns, dropping armies like thunderclouds breaking open. Entire Dominion shipyards were turned to slag within hours, their communication relays severed, their convoys erased before they knew they were hunted. Human fleets carried no mercy, no hesitation. They bore only a single emblem projected before each battle, the broken seal of the Eidolon painted in red fire. One Kiaroth warlord, begging for reinforcements, managed only a single broadcast before his fleet was annihilated. They knew our ambush before we struck. How do they? Static swallowed his final words. The sky turns to fire. The climax came at the Dominion's throne world. For millennia, no empire had dared assault it. Its defenses were legendary planetary shields, orbital cannons, fleets numbering in the thousands. The humans came anyway. Not with one fleet, with 5. Their arrival was described by witnesses as a second dawn. The entire horizon lit up as human dreadnoughts fell out of FTL, their sheer numbers blotting out constellations. The Dominion defenders scrambled, but it was too late. Railguns fired in endless thunder, lancing through shields and shattering fortresses. Drop pods rained into cities like meteors, each carrying armored soldiers whose eyes burned with cold vengeance. Orbital strikes turned defensive cannons into rivers of molten glass. The Dominion Emperor, once surrounded by luxury and arrogance, watched his palace walls tremble as human marines breached them. His last words were whispered not in command, but in disbelief. They were prey. How could prey become predators? The humans did not answer. They didn't need to. The silence after fire. When it was over, the Dominion was not merely beaten. It was erased. The throne